My dear friends, welcome to my next video session. So in this session I am going to discuss about the user defined functions. Okay, so actually what are these functions, why these functions are required. Okay, suppose if the program size is very big, what happens? We have got so many disadvantages, like it is difficult for writing a large program, first point. Then it will be very difficult to identify the errors and correct the logical errors, because program size is very lengthy. So identifying errors and correcting the errors, logical errors we can say, is difficult. And it's also difficult to understand the program, and to read the program also it's very lengthy, and it's very much prone to errors, means the possibilities of making mistakes will be high. So that's why what we'll do, instead of very large program, if we can divide it into smaller programs, then each smaller program is called a module, okay, or a function. And such an approach we call it as modular programming approach. So what is meant by modular programming approach? A large program or large problem is divided into smaller problems, and it is easy to write smaller programs and finding out the solution for smaller problems. Finally we can merge everything, that will be the solution for the larger problem. So that concept of dividing a large program into smaller programs is called user defined functions. Okay, so if we use functions, all these drawbacks will be, or disadvantages we can overcome. So this is what the function. A large program can be divided into a number of individual smaller programs called modules. So that's why I'll say in C language we use modular approach. C language supports modular approach, means dividing the complex problem into several simple problems, and these modules are called functions. Okay, and this we can also call these functions as subprograms, smaller programs, so subprograms. Okay, and these functions can be developed separately and they can be tested separately, so it will be easy then. Okay, so every function returns a value. This is very important. Every function returns a value. So we will come to know how the function returns a value in my next subsequent explanations. Okay, so you have to remember every function must return a value. Okay, so we shall discuss what are the types of functions. Basically there are two types of functions called built-in functions and user defined functions. So these built-in functions are also known as library functions. Okay, so and user defined functions means we can define our own functions, okay, to simplify our large problems. So what are these library functions? They are built-in, means while designing the compiler itself, the programs are written for each of the tasks. So they are called built-in functions or library functions. Okay, so library functions are part of C compiler, which are already defined at the time of compiler preparation itself. Say for example, these are all built-in functions or standard library functions or standard functions, library functions. Like say this is sqrt, square root function, to find the square root of a value, See, every function must have a name followed by parentheses, so that parentheses may have 0 or more parameters. Okay, so every function will have parameters, and parameters must be represented within a pair of empty parentheses. So sine function, to find out the sine of an angle. Power function, power of x comma y, so to compute x to the power of y. Log of x, to find logarithmic value. Okay, exp of x means to compute e to the power of x, we write. Printf is a function to display the output. Scanf is a function to read input. So etc. We have several such functions, and we call them as library functions or built-in functions or standard defined functions. Okay, and in some of the situations the programmer needs other than these standard programs, standard functions, and they are called user defined functions. Okay, so what are those user defined functions? Let us see. Now we shall focus here on user defined functions. So user defined functions are written to achieve some specific task. For a particular task, okay, we are going to write a user defined function, means we can write our own function, okay, for some specific task. Like that, for power function some program is written, function is written, means program, its subprogram is written. Like that, I wish to add two numbers, I will write my own function. So like that, so So to achieve some specific task, we can write our own functions. Okay. So what will be the advantages of user defined functions? Why we have to write user defined functions? Because it has got its own advantages. So what will be the advantages of user defined functions? Reusability and reduction of code size. I said now, when we go for writing user defined functions, when the program is very lengthy, very large in size. So if we adopt the concept of user defined functions, then the code is nothing but program size can be reduced. And reusability, we can reuse it repeatedly. Whenever we have to perform the same task, we can reuse the program, reuse the function which is already written. We need not write it once again. So that's why why we use library functions like say sign of a value. Already it is written. Whenever we want, we use it. Square root of a value, already it is written in the standard library. Whenever we want, we can make use of it. They are available in math.h. Header preprocessor directive will have a header file math.h. So in that, all user defined mathematical functions are stored. Whenever we want to use, instead of writing it, just we call that function math.h header file. Okay. So like that, reusability is the advantage. And reduction of code size. Readability of the program can be increased. So because the complex program is divided into simple problems, simple program, so the readability obviously increased. Modular programming approach we call. Okay, that is dividing the large problem into smaller problems. Easier debugging means finding out the errors. So it is easy to find out the errors if the program is small. Okay, we can isolate the subprograms, and finding out the errors will be very easy. Used to build your own library for future use. Say suppose you can have your own library. So whenever you have to perform, you have to write a large program for projects and something like that. So you can make use of your library, which is already defined with several your own functions. Okay, and function sharing means somebody else can also make use of your functions, because you have your own library. Somebody else can make use of your functions. That is called function sharing. So these are all advantages of user defined functions. Okay. So next, very important, it comes elements of user defined functions. Means if we use the concept of user defined functions, what are all the things should be present? Okay, all put together. What objects are used here? So we call them as elements of user defined functions. Means if we use the concept of functions, these things must be compulsorily present in a C program. So what are they? The elements of user defined functions. There are three elements of user defined functions called function definition, function call, and function declaration. Okay, so we'll come to know one by one what is meant by function definition, what is meant by function call, and function declaration. So first we shall discuss what is meant by function definition. So function definition means what? Before using any function, it has to be defined. Means we have to build that function, we have to construct that function. Once we construct that function, whenever we want, we can use that function. So if we don't have the function defined, then we cannot use it. Okay, so now we are using in our mathematical expression, if we call a square root function, means already square root function is defined, available in math.h file, and so we can use it. So that's why first we have to define the function. Okay, once we define the function, we can adopt it to our requirement. So that is what called function definition. So what this function definition should consist of? So this is the general form of function definition or syntax of function definition. So what it should have? So type. Okay, type means here return type. I said every function has to return a value. To whom it has to return a value? That's why we come to know here 2 points, that calling function and called function. Okay, so these 2 points you have to remember. Calling function, 2 types of functions. One is called calling function, another one is called called function. So calling function means the function which is calling. Called function means the function which is called. It's a very simple concept to understand it very clearly. While calling the attendance in the classroom, lecturer calls the student's name while taking the attendance. So lecturer is like a calling function, and student is like a called function. When a lecturer while taking the attendance calls the name of the student, then the student responds by saying yes sir or present sir. So that present sir is the return value. Present sir is the return value, means every function has to return a value. Very important. Okay, so here also every function has to return a value. Okay, lecturer is a calling function, student is the called function. So that function has, every function should return a value, and what is the data type of that value? First we write here data type, followed by name of the function. Every function should have a name which should be an identifier. So whatever the rules for identifier we have studied, the same rules should be applied here to name the function name. Okay, then within parentheses we have parameter list. One or more parameters will be there. I said every function will have one or more parameters, 0 or more parameters for that matter you can consider. 0 or more parameters may be present. So as far that parameters list should be written within parentheses. Then I said function is a subprogram. So every program will have what is this called, within a pair of curly braces we write declaration part and execution part. So here also this is a program, subprogram. So instead of main, what will be there? Name of the function will be there. Here main will not be there, name of the function will be there. And like a program, opening brace, closing brace, within that two parts, declaration part and execution part. So what is declaration part here? Variable declarations. What are all the variables you are going to use in the body of the program? So those variables must be defined here. Means memory has to be reserved for those variables, no? That's why the variables have to be defined here in variable declaration. So of course declaration is terminated by semicolon. So within the function, these declarations are within the subprogram function. That's why we call them as local variables. We call them as local variables. Then the statements, one or more statements will be there. Okay, so statement 1 semicolon, statement 2 semicolon, just like our normal program. Any statement, C language statements are used here, and the last statement should be a return statement. This is very important. Last statement should be a return statement. Return computed value computed, semicolon. I have said now here type, return type. Every function should begin with return type. Suppose if it is return type is integer, here return integer value. If it is float, here return floating point value. Value computed should be floating point, like that. Okay, so this is what the function definition. Okay, so first element of user defined functions, right? So every function must return a value. It must have name of the function and it must have parameter list. Okay, then declaration parts, execution part, and the last statement should be always, if present, it should be return statement, and return statement should be always the last statement in the program. That is very important. That is about function definition. See, where type represents data type of the return value. If the function does not return a value, then the type is void here. Suppose if the function does not return a value, means this return statement will not be there. Suppose if return statement, last statement is not the return statement, then here void should be there. Void should be there. So function returns void, means it does not return any value. Void means does not, no value, no return value. So that we will come to know when we take up the examples. Here name of the function, it's the name given to the function. It should be an identifier, and parameter list of variables that receive the values from the calling function. I said no, called function and calling function. So here parameter list is, this function is the called function. So from main function we may call this. So main function becomes calling function and this becomes called function. So parameter list means it is the variables used in the called function. Okay. And these parameters are called formal parameters. Okay. So list of variables that receive values from the calling function. Our function is a called function. So main function is a calling function. So that's why list of parameters are used within parentheses and they are called formal parameters. So what are formal parameters? The variables used or the parameters used in the function definition are called formal parameters. Very important word, formal parameters. Then another word will come across, actual parameters. Okay, and we specify data type of each parameter. This is also very important. In parameter list we not only specify the variables, we specify data type along with variables. Okay, you will come to know in the example. Okay, and return is the keyword used to send output of the function back to the calling function. So return will send back the computed value to the calling function. Okay, and it should be the loss statement if present. Okay, and value computed is actual value that is computed. See example, we can consider here one example that will give you more idea. See here, return type is what? Integer. Name of the function is what? Add. Parameter list, we have a comma b. I said parameter should be specified along with the data type. So a is an integer, comma b is an integer. So parameters are separated by comma. Okay, so int add within parentheses int a comma int b. So this line we call it as function header. And variables a and b are called formal parameters. Why they are called formal parameters? Because they are used in the calling function to receive the values from formal parameters are used in the called function to receive the values from the calling function. That's why they are called formal parameters. And this first line of function definition is called function header. Observe here, there is no semicolon in function header. Then function body is always enclosed within pair of curly braces. Then here variable declaration. One variable sum is declared of type integer, int sum, say declaration part. Then C language statement, say sum assigned a value a plus b. Here a will have received value from calling function, b will have received value from calling function. Those values will be added here and the result will be stored in sum. And this sum is the variable used in this function. That's why here we have to declare sum. Sum is of data type integer. So what is our computed value here? So this is executable part. What is our computed value? Sum. In this function we have computed sum, which is addition of a and b, and that computed value has to be returned. So that's why we use return statement. Return within parentheses the computed value. So what is the computed value? Sum. So sum value will be sent back to the calling function. So this is called function definition. Okay. So when I take the example, we shall trace it and you will understand it better. So next element is what? Function elements of user defined function. Second element is what? Function call. So function call means once we define the function, whenever you want you can call that function with required number of parameters. Okay, here we have defined function add with how many parameters? Function add is defined with how many parameters? 2 parameters, a comma b, a and b. So whenever you want to call this function add, you have to make use of this function add. So you can call it by its name and parameters, name and required number of parameters. That's what here. Once a function is written, it has to be invoked, it has to be called or invoked, same. Okay, so invoking a function or calling a function is called function call. So for example, in the above function add, can be invoked or called using function main as follows. So you know main program is written here, or main function. So void main, okay, opening brace, closing brace. Within that we have declared 3 variables, m comma n comma result of data type integer. So printf, enter 2 values, scanf %d. So m and n are the 2 inputs here, ampersand m comma ampersand n. Now I wish to add m and n. So I have already written a function called add. So I am calling that function add with how many parameters I have written? 2 parameters. One is a, another one is b. So I will call that function with, see here 2 parameters. One is a, another one is b. So I call that function with 2 parameters, m comma n. I will have stored values of m and n here. So that's why I will call that function add m comma n. Okay, so this is called function call. Here add m comma n is called function call. So whatever, say for example here scanf m comma n, I will say m value is 10, n value is 20. So 10 and 20 you have typed through the keyboard. Now result assigned value add m comma n. So add m comma n means m value 10, n value 20 will be passed to add function. It will be passed to add function. So this is the add function. M value will be copied into a, n value will be copied into b. Now value of a is 10, value of b is 20. Okay, here this is executed. Says integer sum assigned value a plus b. A value 10, b value 20. So 10 plus 20, 30 is the value of sum. So return sum computed value. What is the return value? 30. So 30 will be returned back to the calling function here at this position. Instead of add m comma n, now 30 comes back here, and that 30 will be copied into result. So what is the value of result now? 30. Okay, then you can print the value of result. So this is called function call. Add m comma n is called function call. Okay. So we'll say here the variables here now main is called, this main is called calling function, and here which function we are calling? Add. So add function is called called function. So calling function, so you have to clearly understand what is calling function, what is called function. Lecturer is like a calling function, student is like called function while taking the attendance. Okay, so this is main is called calling function. So the variables used to call the add function are m and n. So here function call, in function call we are using variables m and n in the calling function. So then in the called function, which variables parameters are used? A and b. So a and b are formal parameters, whereas here m and n are called actual parameters. M and n are called actual parameters. So we read values of m and n as 10 and 20 here. So 10 and 20 are the actual values of m and n. So that's why m and n are called actual values. So we are passing value of m and value of n to the add function. So value of m will be copied into variable a, and value of n will be copied into variable b here, formal parameters. So that's why m and n are called actual parameters, and the values of actual parameters will be copied into formal parameters a and b. Okay, this is very important. So that's why variables used in calling function are called actual parameters. So in the above function, variables function called variables m and n are called actual parameters, whereas a and b are called formal parameters. Okay, variables used in called function are called formal parameters in the function header. So then the third element of function is user defined functions is function declaration. So what is this function declaration means? So once we use the function, we have to give information to the compiler that in my program I am going to make use of this function. So that's why we declare the function. We declare the function. It's called function declaration. So just giving information to the compiler that I am using so and so function. Name of the function is like add. It uses two parameters a comma b, a and b, of data type integer, and function returns integer value. Function returns integer value. Okay, so like that we have to give information. That is called function declaration, or we also call it as function prototype. So that's why declaration of each function should be terminated by semicolon here. Okay, before defining a function, okay, we have to declare the function. And that function declaration is called prototype, and it should be terminated by semicolon. Okay. So that's why what is this function declaration or function declaration is also known as function prototype. What is this function prototype or function declaration? It is nothing but header. Say while defining the function, we have come to know that first line of the function definition is called function header. Observe here in the function header, do you have semicolon? No. Take the function, rewrite the function header as it is and put the semicolon. That becomes function prototype or function declaration. Very simple. Let's see. Function declaration is nothing but what? Function prototype is the function header followed by semicolon. See here. In the above function definition, same header is taken as it is, and here semicolon is written. So this is called semicolon compulsory in function declaration or function prototype. So this is called function prototype. Okay, same function header followed by semicolon. So this is return type, this is name of the function, and this function add has got two parameters, formal parameters of type integer. Okay, that is what the meaning. So we can also write function header or function declaration or function prototype in this format also. See, integer add int a comma int b. Okay, instead of that you can write int add. So instead of writing int a comma int b, simply you can write int. So that means what? Function add has got two formal parameters of data type integer. See, each one is integer and it returns a value integer. Okay, so this can also be written like this, or you can simply write add within parentheses int comma int semicolon. Function declarations I am telling. So name of the function is add, which has got two parameters, formal parameters of data type integer. Here return type is not mentioned, observe here. So if the return type is not written, by default the function returns integer. So here integer now is the return type, that's why we need not mention it. By default every function returns an integer value. Why it may be, question may be asked. Every function returns, what is the default value of the function? What is the default value of the function return? Integer. So that's why we are not return. Not return means return type is integer, understood. Okay. So what is the syntax of function prototype now? So first should be type, same as that of a function header. See, return type, then name of the function, within parentheses data type a1 comma data type a2 comma up to data type an, close, very important, semicolon should be there. So this is the function declaration or function prototype. Okay, so note, it's always good practice to have function prototype. It is always better to write the function prototype, and one example is written here. See, same, everything is compiled and rewritten here. Function prototype should be placed before function definition. Remember it. Function prototype should be placed before function definition. Okay, it's one case. Say for example, here we have written complete program that is calling function and called function. See here, hash include stdio.h. Then before main we have written, what is this? Int add int a comma int b, close semicolon. This is function prototype because this is same as function header terminated by semicolon. See, you can observe here. So this is my function definition, which has got function header, first line, int add int a comma int b. Same line I have taken, put semicolon. If you put the semicolon, that becomes function prototype or function declaration. So function declaration should be declared before main. Remember it, after preprocessor directive. Then I am going to write main function, void main, okay, opening brace, closing brace, int m comma n comma result, same program, print, enter two values. So scanf %d comma ampersand m comma ampersand n. So every scanf should be preceded by printf. So two inputs you are taking. So now result as and a value, add m comma n, means you have to write a function called add. You must have written the function called add. So here add function is written. So function is defined, function header. So this is not the function header, this is called function header, first line. This is called function header. Int add int a comma int b is called function header. Don't get confused. This is just a comment. Okay. What is enclosed within slash star and star slash is called comment. So first line of the function is called function header. So int add int a comma int b. This is called function header. Okay. Just a slight mistake is there. Please note. No semicolon is here. Please understand. No semicolon. Okay. So that's what the same thing. Function header. Then we are adding two numbers, okay, which are present in a and b. So that's why to store the result we declare one variable called sum. Sum is of type integer. So sum must and a value, just simple, a plus b. Add a value with b value, store the result in sum. Sum is declared in the function. Here it is not main, user defined function, but rest everything is like program. Declaration will be there. So and return sum, last statement of the function is return. Computed value, what is the computed value? Sum. So sum will be sent back to the calling function. Okay, once we define, we can use it. That's why this is called called function. This is called called function, and in main function we are going to write our program. Main int m comma n comma result, then scanf m comma n. Scanf should be preceded by printf, enter two values. So result assigned a value, add m comma n. So result is declared here. Result is declared in main. So result assigned value. I have not written here m plus n to show you the concept of functions. I have written a function and calling that function. I could write here m plus n, but to understand the concept of function very clearly, so small program, small function is written and it is being called. See, add function is already written. Okay, it is called with two parameters, m comma n, because your function needs how many parameters? Function definition has got two parameters. So you have to call that function, name of function add with two parameters. That's why two inputs you have to read m and n, and to call that function add m comma n. So immediately, instead of control going to the printf statement, now the control comes to add function. Now add function is called. So this is called a function. So control comes here, add. m value is copied into A, n value is copied into B. Okay, m is 10, n is 20. So 10 is copied into A, 20 is copied into B. Now A is 10, B is 20. Okay, then int sum declared. Sum must send a value A plus B. So 10 plus 20 will be added, result will be sum. Return sum, here return sum is 30. 30 is sent back. So 30 is sent back to the calling place. Here it is called, function is called, to that place 30 comes here. And the 30 is stored into now assignment statement. No? So it will be copied into result. Now print the value of result using printf statement. See, sum of percentage d and percentage d is equal to percentage d. First percentage d m, second percentage d n, and third percentage d result. Value will be copied. That will be your end of program. Okay. So this is how you can define the function, and you can call the function, and you can declare the function before main. Observe that here function definition is placed after main function. Okay, that's why function prototype is declared, written, right? And this main function is called calling function, and this add function is called function. Whenever you call a function using function call, control comes back from calling function to called function. And when the last statement is executed, return statement, control goes back from called function to calling function, and the remaining statements of calling function will be executed. So this is how the process of function works. Okay, and even we can write that function definition is placed before a function is called, then the function prototype is not necessary. So that means what? Here you observe here where we have written function definition of below main. Function definition is written below function main. Okay, below function main. That's why this function prototype is used. Okay, suppose if we write this function definition before main, then function prototype or declaration is not necessary. See here, hash include stdio.h. Immediately I have written function definition. After that main is written. After that main comes. Now see, before main, function prototype or function declaration, that is function header ending with semicolon, not used, not necessary, because function definition when it comes before main, then function prototype is not necessary. This is the point you have to remember. Okay, end of program. Okay, so this now same program, let us execute and see what will be the result. Okay. So here same program to illustrate functions. See here you can observe this line. This is function header terminated by semicolon. So this is called function prototype or function declaration, giving information to the compiler that in this program I am going to use a function called add with two parameters a comma b, which returns integer value. Now void function, same thing is written. I need not explain it. M comma n comma result, enter two numbers mn, result assigned value add mn. So printf sum of percentage and percentage d is called percentage m comma n comma result. Here this is called function call. Now we are calling a function. So control goes to function definition now. So this is the function definition. Int add int a comma int b, int sum assigned value a plus b. Now return sum. So return sum means value computed will be sent back to this position, function call position, that will be copied to result. Now printf statement is executed. So let us run it. Enter two values. I will enter 10 and 20. So this 10 is copied into m, 20 is copied into n. Okay, then when you call the function, this value of m 10 is copied into a, and 20 b value of b is copied into 20 value of n is copied into b, and the result, say sum of 10 and 10 is equal to 30. Okay, so you can observe here function definition. Where is the function definition? Function definition is below main. Function definition is below main function, it is written. So that's why we have used function prototype or function declaration. So this line I have used. Suppose if this function definition is written before main, means above main, then this line is not necessary, that we shall understand. See here, you can observe here hash include stdio.h. Then I have function definition. Immediately I have written first function definition. See, same function I copied pasted here. Then main function, same main function. But observe here, have I written function prototype anywhere here? Means function this line terminated by semicolon. Have I written anywhere? No, not necessary. Why not necessary? Because before main itself function definition is written. Okay. Same program. So compile it, run it. Same, enter two values. I'll write 40, 50. Then result is 90. Okay. Clear? So this is what the function definition, user defined functions. If you want, even we can trace the values of this function definition. This program values we can trace it. Let me trace it. Suppose this is the program. Execution of the program always begins from main. Remember it. Always begins from main. Okay. Then int m comma n comma result. So memory is reserved for variables m, n and result. So result. Okay. Memory is reserved. Declaration. Enter two values. I will enter that is scanf m comma n. So m value I will take how much? 10. Then n value I will take 20. N value will be 20. Okay. Now result assigned a value. So this result assigned a value, add m comma n. So add m comma n means add function is called. Now control goes to add function. Okay. So here next printf statement is not yet executed and result value is not stored. Observe here. So control goes to add function here. This is what add function. Control comes here. Now int a comma int b, two parameters m and n we have called here. Add m comma n. So this m value is copied into a, n value is copied into b. Okay. So we are here when the control comes to add function, int a means once again declared. A is declared. See, a is declared. Memory is reserved. Int b means b is declared. Okay. Memory is reserved. One of the locations are named as a or b, like that. Okay. Then a and b values we are calling from main, no, m and n. So m value we already know 10, n value already we know 20. They will be copied into a and b. So now m value is copied into a, that becomes 10. N value is copied into b, that becomes 20. Okay. So now you observe here integer sum. Now sum is declared. So sum is declared. Memory is reserved for sum. Okay. Int sum. Then sum must and value a plus b. What is a? 10. What is b? 20. So a plus b, 10 plus 20 means 30 will be stored in sum. Sum must and value a plus b. Then return sum. What is the value of return sum? 30. 30 is returned to the place where the function was called. See here it was called. So 30 comes here. And so now this becomes result as and value 30. So now the result becomes 30. Okay. Now see next what happens. Printf sum of percentage d and percentage d is equal to percentage d. Sum of percentage d, first percentage d m. So that's why it will display sum of here sum of percentage d. So same text displayed in printf as it is in the new line. Sum of percentage d, when it comes, first variable in the variable list m. So what is the value of m? 10. Okay. Then see and percentage d. So once again and is displayed as it is, and percentage d format character comes means second variable. What is the second variable? N. Its value is displayed there in place of second percentage d. What is the value of n? 20. Then what you have? Is equal to. So is equal to. Once again percentage d. Percentage d means result. Third variable is result. So what is the value of result? 30. So this is how your output. This is how you will get the output when you execute this program. So then what happens? End of main. The program will be end of main. So this is how you can use the concept of functions. So if you have any doubt, please repeatedly watch the video, so you will understand better. Okay. So thank you for watching this video of functions. The remaining concept functions we'll discuss in my next video.